The quiet magic of the English cottage garden. There's a certain kind of quiet magic that unfurls when you step into an English cottage garden. It's not just the flowers spilling over the borders, or the scent of lavender drifting through the air. It's something else. It's the feeling of stepping into a memory. These gardens are stories told in petals, in moss, in rusted watering cans, and winding paths that lead you somewhere both familiar and enchanted. Today, we're diving into that magic. The charm, the history, and how you, yes, you, can create a bit of this beauty in your own space. But before we begin, a warm, heartfelt welcome to sweet Magnoliaa, your go-to for everything cozy, curated, and beautifully lived in. Ready to wander into wonder? Let's begin. The potting shed, where gardening dreams begin. Every cottage garden begins with a little retreat. Not grand, not fussy, just a humble potting shed. Step inside, and it smells like damp earth and wood. Terracotta pots are stacked high. Seed packets rest beside a chipped mug of tea. Boots, always muddy, by the door. This space isn't just practical. It's a pause. It's where your garden begins, in thought and in soil. Hang a few botanical prints. Tuck an old stool in the corner. Maybe a radio humming in the background. This is where gardening becomes personal. The greenhouse, heartbeat of year-round growth. Just beyond, the greenhouse. Elegant. Victorian. A frame of glass and iron, glowing in the early sun. Inside. Spring's first seeds. Summer's tomatoes, ripening on the vine. Maybe a grapevine curling overhead. You don't need a grand greenhouse. A small one, well-positioned, does wonders. Include a water source, good ventilation, and a bench. Always a bench. Because watching things grow is worth sitting for. The herb garden, scent, flavor, and purpose. Now, let's breathe in. The herb garden is where scent meets structure. Rosemary by the gate. Thyme underfoot. Mint in a pot, always in a pot. Herbs aren't just beautiful. They're useful. They flavor your meals. Heal your aches. Feed your bees. Plant what you love. Label them, if you like. And make space for stillness. Vintage tools, stories in every handle. In a cottage garden, even the tools tell a story. A spade with a worn handle. Shears that click with age. Twine in a tin that once held biscuits. These aren't just for show. They work hard. And when they're not in use, they add soul to your shed. Find them at antique markets. Or maybe, your grandmother's garage. Terracotta pots. Earthy, elegant, enduring. Terracotta is warmth in clay form. Those rich, earthy tones. Softened by moss. Chipped at the edges. Don't scatter them. Arrange them like sculpture. Group by size. Line them along a sunlit wall. Fill them with lavender or trailing nasturtiums. Each one tells a story, especially the old ones. The garden shed, humble, handy, and beautiful. The potting shed may be romantic, but the garden shed, that's your workhorse. Inside, tools. Wheelbarrows. Crates of bulbs. It's a little messy, and that's okay. Paint it soft blue. Let roses climb the side. Add a bench nearby. It's not just a shed. It's part of your garden's charm. Vegetable patches, where beauty meets bounty. In a cottage garden, beauty and bounty go hand in hand. Your vegetable patch isn't hidden. It's celebrated. Zinnias blooming beside kale. Carrots under cosmos. Beans spiraling up bamboo. Grow what you love to eat. Let it mix with what you love to see. There's joy in the jumble. Designing the garden, layered, curved, and alive. How does it all come together? Start with a path. Gravel. Brick. Even broken stone. Let it wander. Let it lead somewhere meaningful. Then layer. Tall plants in back. Medium ones in the middle. Trailing blooms up front. Stick to soft colors. Pastels. Creams. Dusty pinks. Then, surprise the eye. A deep red rose. A burst of blue delphinium. Curves are your friend. Let the garden feel alive. Starting small, a garden for any space. You don't need acres. You don't need a cottage. A balcony. A corner of your yard. even a cluster of pots by the front steps. Start with one thing. A rose. A bit of catmint. A terracotta pot. Add a bench. Some fairy lights. Maybe an old bucket turned planter. Suddenly, you're halfway there. A way of life, living the cottage garden philosophy. This isn't just a style. It's a way of being. Slower. Softer. More intentional. It invites birds. Bees. Butterflies. And those moments where you sit and simply be. In your hands, pruners. On your tongue, tea and thyme. Around you, blooms, buzzing, and breath. It's a way of living, rooted in beauty. 10 common mistakes to avoid in a cottage garden. 1. Overcrowding plants too early. It's tempting to pack your garden for instant lushness, but overplanting can lead to disease, airflow issues, and plant competition. 2. Neglecting soil preparation. Cottage gardens thrive on rich, well-draining soil. Skipping this step leads to weak plants and a struggling garden. 3. Planting without a seasonal plan. Many beginners forget to stagger bloom times, resulting in garden dead zones mid-season. 4. Choosing high maintenance varieties. Stick to hardy, easy care plants especially if you're new. Some beautiful bloomers demand too much attention. 5. Not accounting for sun/shade needs. Mixing shade lovers and sun seekers in the same bed can doom one or both to a lackluster life. 6. Forgetting pathways and access. Without clear routes, you'll trample your blooms just getting to your herbs. Design for beauty and usability. 7. Letting invasive plants run wild. Mint, for instance, needs containment. Even pretty bullies can overtake your beds. 8. Neglecting vertical space. A flat garden lacks charm. Use trellises, arches, and climbing varieties to draw the eye upward. 9. Ignoring wildlife and pollinators. Avoid chemicals. Invite bees, birds, and butterflies. They keep your garden lively and productive. 10. Expecting perfection. Cottage gardens are meant to be wild and whimsical. Embrace the beauty in imperfection. 10 frequently asked questions about English cottage gardens. 1. Do I need a big yard to start a cottage garden? Not at all. Even a balcony or small patio can showcase the cottage look with containers and vertical elements. 2. What plants define the cottage garden style? Think roses, foxgloves, hollyhocks, delphiniums, lavender, and a medley of herbs and annuals. 3. Is this style high maintenance? Surprisingly, no. Once established, many cottage favorites are low care. Pruning and deadheading are your main tasks. 4. Can I mix edibles with flowers? Yes. That's one of the joys of this style. Let tomatoes flirt with nasturtiums and strawberries cozy up to marigolds. 5. What kind of fencing suits a cottage garden? Picket fences, lattice, or low hedgerows fit perfectly, especially when covered in climbers. 6. How do I make it look full from the start? Use fast-growing annuals your first year while perennials settle in. Think cosmos, zinnias, and calendula. 7. What about pests? Companion planting helps. Marigolds deter pests, and herbs like basil and mint confuse harmful insects. 8. Can I make it eco-friendly? Absolutely. Avoid pesticides, compost your waste, collect rainwater, and plant native-friendly varieties. 9. How long does it take to get the look? You'll see charm from season 1, but a mature, layered feel develops over 2 to 3 years. 10. What's the most important first step? Start with soil. Healthy soil is the foundation of a thriving, beautiful garden. If something in this video made you smile or sparked an idea, give it a like, drop a little love in the comments, and subscribe so we can keep creating together. Grow slowly, bloom wildly. Start with a single rose. One winding path. A patch of lavender that hums with bees. Let it grow. Let it spill. Let it surprise you. Because the best gardens, like the best lives, are layered, a little wild, and always full of joy.